Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here for week 4 of Donde Deal or No Deal Island rolls on, and whew, that was close tonight. Almost had to retire from the podcast. If Boston Rob went home, he opened the case, but Rob moves on. Kim Mattina is out, and we got a lot to talk about here on a busy night here of Dondi. Of course, back with us, the star of Hit or Quit. It's Jenny Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
Oh my gosh, the star? Dondi.
Yep.
Dondi's
Yes.
the star right now. Rob, I've never been so excited to see $500.
Yes.
When that case opened. So
Yeah.
I too, I was sweating a little bit. I thought we
Yeah.
were gonna lose.
I cannot say the same myself. There were some down years, and the rent needed to be paid. Okay.
I think it's just the thing is that I just don't see like just $500 given to me randomly very often. So maybe that's why. But seeing that number in a case, very exciting for me tonight. So I'm glad that we have both Robs still in the game.
We're still in it. Okay. And back with us, a man who just spoke with Claudia Jordan for her tell-all here on Dondi. Let's welcome back from Recap Kickback, Chappell.
Dundee! Thank you. Thank y'all for having me back here for Hit or Quit. Yeah, I talked to Claudia last week. She had a lot of insight into the game and some choice words for our recently eliminated contestant, Kim Mattina. I think I would love to interview Claudia this week as well.
Mhm.
You know, like now that this has happened, I'm kind of like, now I to be a fly on the wall when this elimination happened, to see Claudia react to it. I think we're robbed of that. But yeah, Kim Mattina is gone. And I think that this is not great for TV. I think that we had a good, two sides, Kim versus Rob. I think that was really driving the drama here. Sure. And so we need to find a new storyline to latch onto.
But I will say that Kim probably, this was like her quietest episode of the 4. And then a new antagonist for Rob has emerged in Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd she come from?
Where did half of these people come from? We talked so much last week about the NPCs, and Claudia left, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, we're going to explore all of these characters that we've barely seen anything from.
Here's Miranda.
Miranda, the chaotic one who gets a confessional at the gate. I thought she was done. I thought this was the end of Miranda.
I wrote Miranda sighting. Who is this? Yep. So, all right.
It's bad. We've barely seen Miranda, but Aaron hates her. And that just tells you all you need to know.
Yes. Okay. Something. And I mean, I guess that, of course, he hates her. He hates everybody.
I hate you guys. I hate the banker. I hate this.
The banker.
Yeah. But he hates Miranda, especially.
I hate Miranda. I hate Miranda. I hate the banker.
Okay. Chappell, we'll have an interview with Kim Mattina coming up on Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. According to social media, Kim Mattina answered a question that the panel might have had. We debated ad nauseum what word was getting bleeped out.
It was never in doubt for me.
It was always in doubt for me. I like to keep my options open. And so, yeah, Rob was right. Go listen to our last podcast. Rob was onto something and I was far off.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I thought it was the most sensible thing, but then it was like it kind of devolved into something that I was like, is it worse? Is it more? And I hope I can speak because I did hear from Kim Mattina myself. She did confirm, and I know that it got confirmed on social media that correct, it was effers, but apparently and I'm sure Kim will probably get into this with you, Chappell, but we'll see if her story stays the same here. She said that that Alyssa, I think, maybe played a little bit of telephone game and it became MFers. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that makes it worse.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
does hit different in the
Um,
jungle for sure.
Yeah, it's different in the
Yeah.
jungle. It can.
There's no one
Yeah.
happier
Mhm.
tonight than Claudia, right? Like Claudia.
I,
Like,
I mean,
This
Boston
is
Rob's
Claudia's
probably pretty
favorite
happy as
episode.
well.
Mhm.
Claudia's favorite episode of TV, and it's not even close.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about all this here from Dondi and how we got here. And we've been talking about this over the last couple of
Mhm.
weeks. Okay. The danger, Alyssa. Okay.
Mhm.
She's part of this where Boston Rob is like, okay, this is my guy. This is my number one. But Aaron, he has another friend.
Mm-hmm. We
Another
said
woman.
She's a great listener, Chappell.
we
That's
said
a good story for the girlfriend at home. Also, that she's
Right.
she's a great listener.
I need it. Yeah, she's just somebody. She's not even attracted to me. We found out Alyssa's gay. She's not feeling Aaron. This is platonic. Everything's cool. Aaron, yeah, cover your bases because this looks bad.
Mhm.
It looks bad. It looks like she got you whipped, buddy. But yeah, we called it. Alyssa is the one who knocks. She's the one who Boston Rob should be concerned about. Not that she's coming directly after him, but she's taking away his number one. They're both fighting for Aaron's attention here. And it looks like Alyssa might be getting her hooks into him a lot in this episode because there are moments where you think Aaron would go with Boston Rob and he's kind of making sure that Alyssa is doing okay in this. We've talked about it before. We said Boston Rob's next move should probably be going after Alyssa. I just don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off.
I don't know if he sees it, Jenny.
Here's the thing. I think Rob's problem is that he sees like a group of people that are enemies to him, and he needs to focus on the threat in front of him to like get him to the next day.
Got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, and I think that's my fear for Rob here is that like he's in a situation where he's gotta be saving himself in order to even be around long enough to deal with Alyssa, because we saw in his decision tonight where, based on who was available to eliminate, it was basically going to be between Kim and Stephanie. And those are two people that, would make sense for him to eliminate given what we've seen of the game so far. But that's with half of the cast not even being available to eliminate. And now we see Amy's a problem. I'm sure that he sees some of his potential issues with Alyssa, but it's like, that's a next week problem. And he's seeing a lot of bigger things in front of him being like, hey, Alyssa, I think at least has my back right now. I know a bunch of these people do not have my back. So he's kind of in survival mode. He's just got to do whatever the next move is to get him another day in the game. So I kind of understand it, but I am worried that he's not even going to have a chance to take the shot at Alyssa. But what we've seen of Alyssa is she's pretty spicy. So she might make some other, like I said this last week, maybe she'll make some enemies of her own and it won't even be Rob's shot to take.
Maybe.
Mhm.
Okay. Chappell, I want to ask you something, but I don't want you to get upset with me.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay. All
Well,
right.
you got to ask. Yeah, go ahead.
Have you ever played Magic the Gathering?
No, what? Rob, you haven't heard about all of my.
Because I feel like you know about Pokemon, and I feel like
yeah.
it's kind of like Magic the Gathering is like Pokemon adjacent, right?
I love
Luckily-
Rob saying Pokemon.
Luckily, I am not one of the people who care about Magic the Gathering, so I'm not upset about this. But you have to know that a third of the listening audience is throwing stuff at their TV
What,
screen
it's not
right
the
now.
same? You don't catch them all of Magic the Gathering?
You gather them all? I'm
They
not quite
gather?
sure either. Listen,
Here's the thing. It's like there's different.
You know about it,
kinds-
Jenny?
No, I know of it. I know of it. I will say,
Jenny,
because I am a dedicated. I literally know nothing about it except for that it's called Magic the Gathering and there are cards. It's like a card game. Not like a card game as in like a regular deck of cards, but it is. I think maybe it's like it's not Dungeons and Dragons adjacent, but it's like it's fantasy.
It feels
based
like
in
that.
Like
Closer
it
to-
feels like it's in
yeah.
like a similar genre.
Yeah.
I am a dedicated
Should
journalist.
I text Christian Hubicki?
There's got to be. We know so many
Yes.
Well, I
lovely
know.
nerds that this is their.
First of all,
nerd
we know a few
thing.
things. Okay, we know there's a princess card.
But Rob, this is what I'm saying. Is
There's
I Googled because I was
There's a
like,
pet
I want
card.
to know more.
Pet.
I got lost in the sauce on the MTG wiki. I don't know if I found anything about princess card or pet card.
There's a chaos
Aaron
card.
might be lying. Like Aaron might be lying to the viewers and just
Mhm.
making up other names for these cards that don't exist, because I was reading all sorts of stuff and I just got lost in the sauce. I was like, I don't understand this. This is all like a different language to me. So perhaps our listeners that know a little bit more can maybe verify if this is a thing, because it was very confusing. There's
Mhm.
like a million different types of cards.
Yeah. Rob doesn't even know what MTG means, right?
Which one?
Magic the Gathering. Okay,
Hey.
so listen.
I'm not not gathering anything.
Yeah, look. This is not my wheelhouse. I like Pokemon, the video game, that like the first one, and then after that, I'm out. Like
Okay.
I have nothing. I think Rob, the underrated right here is that we're some of your elder podcasters here on this. The
Mhm.
Hit or Quit is not
Yeah.
for the youths. Okay,
Is
Me, you, and
Magic the
Jenny-
Gathering a young person's game?
Aaron is a
No.
young person, so I assume that he.
But
Mhm.
I feel like I remember, and Chappell, again, he's speaking for both of us, being like of your podcasters, I would say Chappell and I are on the older end, believe it or not.
We are. We really
considering
are.
how immature we are. Sorry. But
Veteran journalist.
well,
Yes.
yeah.
That part.
You
Mhm.
know, we have similar ages, and I remember that I swear I remember people talking about Magic the Gathering when I was like in elementary school.
Oh,
Which would have
see,
been
Wow.
90s.
yeah, I remember people talking about it in high school, but again, I was not talking about it. So I saw people like, "Oh, you're playing a card game. That's cool. I'm gonna like." It's like, "Oh, I'm too cool for Magic the Gathering. I'm about to go watch Survivor." You know, like I'm not
Mhm.
saying that I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm too good for that." It just never landed on my desk, you know. So I don't know anything about it except
Okay.
for what Aaron told us.
Aaron is
Okay, it was
telling us the game is like Magic the Gathering. If you say so, Aaron.
I
Yeah,
mean,
sure.
we have no choice but to trust him on this.
Yeah.
It was introduced in 1993, according to the Googs. So
Mhm.
that tracks with, you know, it picking up steam when I was in elementary school, and I remember people talking about it. It was like there
Yeah.
were different kinds of things. It was like Pogs, which are
I
a
remember
totally
Pogs.
different game.
I'm an elder.
And
I
then,
remember.
and then
Pogs.
like intense nerdom became the Magic the Gathering, and I had no I was like, this sounds like too much work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't like fantasy things, so
Yeah.
but anyway.
Yeah, I'm with Jenny on this one. Aaron taught me everything I needed to know about the game so far. There is the princess card, which is Alyssa. There's the pet card, which is Nick, who we also
Pet
need to
card.
know about now. Yeah,
Card. Yeah.
he's
we
fun.
know more.
I'm the pet card of this podcast. I'm fun. I'm not
You're
good so
fun.
much, but I'm fun.
You're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But,
then
are you
Jenny's
like-
the princess.
Yeah.
You're
but
doing
who-
more than
Is
most of
Miranda
us.
the chaos card though?
Yeah,
Or was
well,
Amy
that's
the
the thing.
chaos card?
Well, Miranda
Yeah.
was the chaos
He's
card.
focused on-
Yeah.
But the thing about the chaos card is that how is Miranda this chaotic, but we've never seen her. She's got
And
one line throughout this whole
Aaron
series.
hates her, Jenny.
He hates her guts.
Here's the thing, though. He said Miranda is the chaos card. And then there was like this weird splice clip of her saying like, we can just like get on the helicopter and leave together. Like, I don't know if she's like having,
Does he know what
you
chaos
know,
means?
maybe not. And again, I don't know if these cards are real. If
Maybe
he's just
chaos
like
means
giving
something
us,
different in Magic the Gathering.
maybe it does. But the thing is, and then again, we also, some of the stuff we see about Miranda in this episode is that she's like anti-strategy. Like
Mhm.
so I guess you could argue that is chaotic, but like I almost feel like what would be more chaotic if you were against strategy is if you were like actively trying to mess up strategy, whereas it just seems like she's like,
Yeah.
why are we playing a game? Like, wouldn't it be cooler if we just hung
Yeah.
out and vibed?
And I do ask the question, how did she get on the show? But not for
I
me to
assume she got there
speculate
by
on.
a boat
Yeah.
at some point.
The more we talk about her, though, the more I'm starting to think I might be the Miranda here.
Chappell.
I thought you were the Samantha of the podcast.
Some circles call me the Karen. I think I'm the Miranda this time because let me tell you something. I was sitting here thinking, yeah, I too would not care about playing this game. I'd be like, we're on a resort. There's ocean. There's
we're not
food.
starving.
We're not starving. We're kind of glamping.
Yeah.
TV cameras here. I get to do some excursions. Wait, what are we strategizing for? Really? We doing that?
Yeah.
Please. You were not
That's a very good point.
But
I'd be like, there's tea. There's tea.
There's
tea.
tea. I love tea. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're making some good points.
Yeah.
But does that make
Miranda.
for chaos? Like it just almost feels like it was just such a strange look into Miranda. But Aaron's a player.
Well,
he loves Magic the Gathering, and so I feel like Miranda is like the antithesis of Magic the Gathering. So
here's what Miranda did that really did set him off. She said she wanted to play a game. All right, why doesn't everybody say what they're grateful for? And Aaron is like, you see, this is what she does. She's a floater.
Yeah, he does not like floaters. They better grab a life vest. It's funny because Aaron is very tapped into the game. We don't really get that sense in the first couple episodes because it does look like Rob might be like puppeteering him or whatever. But if you really look at it, he's saying some of the right things here. He's like, yeah, Rob is deadly and can turn on you. Like I need him, but also I gotta watch him. I need my relationship with Alyssa is very important because she wants to take me to the end. But then you have these people who are floaters, who are chaotic, who just talk too much, Amy, where he's like, I'm good. Like he literally says, I don't want to be connected to Amy. He didn't say, I don't like Amy. I don't want to work with Amy. He said, I don't want to be seen with her because she talks a lot. And I was like, damn, am I the Amy? I just started to, I feel like I was taking a lot of shots in this episode.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Amy, because Amy, out of nowhere, she's just like, can I steal Aaron away?
What is this, The Bachelor?
Yeah.
Like
she steals him away and she says, hey.
Fabio? Didn't she say, like, I'm taking your man away? Who was she talking to?
She said Fabio.
She said, I'm going to take your man away. I'm like, whose man is this?
The royal you, Jenny. Everybody loves Aaron. By the end of the episode, we'll find out that everybody trusts him the most.
Yeah.
Okay, fact.
And so Amy says, hey, Aaron, me and you should be the final two. Because that's like the fair final two matchup. Like that's a coin flip between us, two average Joes in the final two in a showdown. And Aaron's like, I don't want anything to do with her.
Again, what do they know about how this show ends? Because they've already changed format things in this very episode. Like they've already thrown them for a loop on how some of these things can go. I just don't understand. This is the second time we've had people give confessionals about going to the final two, which at what point have we been told that there is some sort of final two that people have control of getting themselves to, and that there is a physical aspect and that these people feel like they can beat Aaron physically at the end. This is the second person who has said exactly this, and I'm just like, what do they know that we don't know? Because tonight's excursion, is that what they call them, excursion, wasn't even physical. There was nothing physical about it. So I just don't understand. That's physical?
A little bit. You gotta get in there.
Down the gas,
like a couple times.
Like I don't know. Yeah. I just don't. What do they know? What do they know?
It's really hard to tell. It is because it's like everybody's making plans, but we don't know why they're making plans and if their plans even matter. Because while Amy is telling Aaron, I think physically we would be the best matchup, she's telling us, I'm gonna mop the floor with Aaron physically. And so I'm like, okay, well, what do you know? Like, is it a foot race? Is it, are you gonna have to do a lot of the excursions? Are you gonna have to swim? Joe in this episode says, we've been neglecting the water. I'm thinking, are they gonna get in the water? We just don't know. But it seems like everybody's making plans for some type of final two situation that is going to be a mixture of physical and probably some luck involved because of Deal or No Deal Island. And if that's the case, everybody should be looking at Rob and Nick as these physical specimens.
All right. So Rob is watching Amy with Aaron and doesn't like this. Okay. Aaron comes back, talks to Rob and Nick and says what Amy's up to. And Rob is, you believe this? You believe this? But Amy sees what's going on. And now, Jenny, Amy starts spiraling.
What happened? This woman was not even, she was, what we knew about her before tonight was she was the Tiger Queen. She had a animal print shirt and she's from Oklahoma. I think. Yeah. And that was about it. She has nails, so she doesn't shoot crossbows. Okay, apparently I knew more than I thought. But I don't know what happened. She woke up this day and said, Claudia has left and I
choose chaos.
Let's be chaotic today. I don't know. I don't even know what happened because she just came out of the gate. She's pulling of Aaron even to go talk when it seemed like it was an off day where nothing had happened yet. No one was in power. There was no sort of like anything was going on. I'm like, that's an interesting move in a group of people to publicly pull Aaron aside to have a conversation. Like, weird move in the first place. Kind of looks weird that you're like, oh, I need to go have like, it would be different if like Aaron was the person choosing who was going to face the banker and like we were at that stage of like the round. That was not the case. Yeah, exactly. And so that was weird. And then when she sees that Aaron basically turns around and goes to talk to Rob and Nick, she spirals more because she realizes she's like, oh, I effed up. And instead of like pivoting and being like, okay, let's do some damage control, she says, let's put the foot on the gas a little bit more in this spiral. And just like she's talking to herself in front of random people, she's just being like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and like you just wait till I get some power. Like I was just sitting there being like, what happened to this woman? What did she have a bad dream? She wake up on like, what happened? She woke up and she said, I choose violence today. And I'm happy about it. It was wonderful television, but I was so confused about what happened here.
I don't blame her though. I think you look around and you see that Rob's army is getting picked off. He's lost Jamil. He's lost Claudia. His number one ally is Aaron, and everybody knows it. But quite frankly, everybody should be looking at Aaron as the person that they want to work with. And they are. We see Alyssa gravitating to him. Rob is gravitating. No one's coming for Aaron. And so she's looking at, okay, let's say the idea is to take out the physical threats. I need Aaron to not take me out. Like, I need us to be on the same page. And so she makes this move. Now, when she realizes that it was a mistake, that's when the real spiral starts. She goes back and now she's talking to anybody who will listen about how Rob is, well, you know, I won't say Rob, but she's basically just complaining about Rob in a general sense. Like, oh yeah, all these people think that they can just beat me in the game. I'm gonna let them win. I don't even let my kids win. Are you kidding me? Like, she's going left. And the craziest thing about all of this is that the paranoia gets going because she starts seeing people flocking to Rob. And the more people she sees around Rob, the madder she gets. I mean, some people are just telling Rob, like, bro, it's Amy. Stop worrying. Like, Miranda's like, bro, chill. It's cool. But Amy sees this and there's no consoling her to the point where she's so mad. She's created such a spectacle that Boston Rob is able to come sit and watch the spectacle as if it's not about him.
It was wild. He's like, hey, I'm going to put a hat on and I'm going to go over here and watch this. He's like, this is great. I got like the live feeds. Like, maybe does Boston Rob know about Big Brother? He might like it.
He has to.
He knows about Big Brother.
24/7 live feeds.
24/7 live feeds. Where's Taryn?
If Rob has gone his entire CBS reality show career and he's never heard of Big Brother, kudos to that man.
He's heard of it. Do you think he's ever turned on the live feeds?
No, not the live feeds.
Big Brother people? Has he schmoozed with any of those
knows Big Brother people.
Who?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure he's run into them in his travels.
that's not the same. Okay, Rob, pick who is Boston Rob's best friend from Big Brother. Go.
Best friend for Big Brother.
Dr.
I
Will
mean,
Kirby.
yeah, I was gonna say, probably. Like, you're telling me that he didn't run into Mike Boogie at some point?
Do you think that's his best
What,
friend
was he
from
in
Big
jail?
Brother?
Look,
Boston Rob is never-
he's been around the block for a minute. You could probably Google. There's probably a picture of them together.
Boston Rob is probably friends with Hayden. Like that's his like bestie.
I don't know.
They both know
Okay, but
Tyson.
that's not that doesn't count. You can't.
No, it
count,
doesn't count.
You can't count Big Brother players that have also played Survivor.
Mhm.
He
I
knows
would
Hayden.
love
He
to
has no clue who
know.
Beast
I
Mode
bet
Cowboy is.
he's run into Janelle over the years.
Okay, yeah. And he did watch
Okay.
The Traitors. I know he
Mhm.
was tweeting about the Traitors US too.
About
So
Sandra.
maybe
So he knows Dan.
he's
Mhm.
familiar with Dan.
Mhm.
I would love to see like Rob's iPhone contacts, and yes, I'm just assuming that Rob is an iPhone guy.
Mhm.
To see like what Big Brother players he's got like the contact for, like, and if he's
Mhm.
ever actually spoken to any of these people,
I think
because
he's spoken to them.
yeah,
I don't know. Okay,
I
so
mean,
yeah.
you think he's
I'm sure
Like,
he's
Boogie.
talked to Kevin Martin, and he's a Big Brother Canada person.
There you
Yeah, but
go,
that's
Big Brother
poker.
Canada.
But they
Yeah,
have
but
they have like a poker connection. They probably like met at like, I don't know, poker things, right?
Mhm.
yeah, and run it
I
up
don't
Reno. Yeah, I think that
Is that a thing
this is
still?
such a boss move though from Rob, because all the chaos is surrounding him. It's about him, but Amy knows better than to say it's about Rob. No one's gonna say his name, because the last time somebody said their name, it telephoned back, and next thing you
Mhm.
know, Kim Martina is the target number one. So Rob literally says, and this might be a Frankenbite, but he says, "Who you talking about, Amy?" And she just completely keeps talking. Like, he does not even
Yeah.
tell her what
Well,
the drama's about. That's so
yeah,
funny.
He goes, "What happened?"
What happened?
What's going on? And they're like, "Rob, shut up. Just shut up,
It was a
Rob."
great line.
Banana
It was a
in
great
his
line.
mouth and the hat. Can we
What
talk about the hat?
happened?
With the
Where
gold
did
chain.
the hat come from? Did
No,
you see
yeah.
this?
Maybe it was
This is
Claudia's
my-
hat. Maybe she left it
this is-
behind.
This is my
It was
favorite version of
when-
Boston Rob. It's my favorite version of Boston Rob, and it's not even close. Boston Rob, but this Boston Rob, would the young Boston Rob would hate this Boston Rob. Do you understand how mad Marques's Boston Rob would be if he ever came in contact with this Boston Rob, who's so smug, so sure of himself, and so in charge of everything? He would not be able to handle this man. That's why I love this version of Boston Rob so much.
Yeah.
Those are the rules of like maturing though. Like if you don't despise like 10 year, 15 year ago, 20 year ago version you, then I question, because like if you shouldn't like that person.
Wow.
That means you have not grown.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
If I ever ran into 21-year-old me, this version of me is going to prison, because I'm going to hurt that person, because he needs to sit his ass down somewhere. Like,
I keep Facebook solely so that I can see the memories that pop up, and I can see something that I posted on Facebook 15 years ago, so I can delete it and be like, "Wow,
Good. Thank you
there's
for
no
caught
one
that one.
there's no one I relate to less than 2009 Jenny. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know her."
yeah. This is completely unrelated, but I'm about to go check my memory, and I guarantee you there's an unhinged Facebook status that means nothing for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and never mind. It says Chappell is on beer number 4. That's back when Facebook just said "is" all the time.
Yeah.
So it says
Things
Chappell
have
is
changed so much.
Chappell beer number 4. Bud Light is less filling than Budweiser. That was my status.
You would never say that.
Not today.
I mean, that's just true though. It is less filling. Like,
But why did Facebook need to know
It's
that?
great, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Why did Facebook need to know that?
Yeah. No, often like I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Yeah. Why was
Yeah.
I thinking that?
Yeah, the context clues sometimes are just like, I don't know what this means, and I don't want to know what it means.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's like, that has to be what it's like seeing. And Rob, like, you get to live this experience. You get to see you on television from like 15 years ago, right? Like you can
That's
be
very,
like,
very generous of you, Jenny.
listen, I'm rounding.
Yeah, but some of my greatest
20.
TV moments from 2009.
It's not 20. So we're
I mean,
rounding.
if you say so.
Is there a rule that I have to round up?
You're
No.
rounding down, which is very
rounding
kind of
down.
you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm rounding down. Let's be generous. Like you don't have to say the next age you're gonna be. Like just say the age you are now. Anyway, but you get to like see. You're like you have like a time capsule of you. And I'm not saying you should hate old you. It's just like I think that it shows growth to look at an old version of yourself and been like, wouldn't do that quite the same.
Yeah, honestly, there's as a total aside, the scarier thing for me is like I remember everything that happened on television. The scarier thing for me is when I find old podcasts. So like I don't remember that. I think this could be a deep fake. You could trick me and have
no fanner.
No, I mean that was unforgettable. But there's many podcasts along the way to 5,000 where I do not remember the time or the place.
To be fair, Rob, you've only been on TV for a certain amount of episodes or hours of television. You have done an obscene amount of podcasts. So I would actually question like it more if you didn't like have holes of like that was a thing. I don't remember that. You should be losing some of these podcasts into the ether.
Thank you. That's
so
making me feel slightly better.
I think that's okay.
Let's talk about our big excursion here in this episode. Okay, we are going to have this boat race, and this was interesting. We got into teams for the first time, at least teams of 5, where we had basically individual immunity for a whole team of people. And I thought this was a very interesting game. We had 2 captains. We had Dawson, but Rob said, hey, come on. You know, I'm really the captain. I'm the captain now. Not Dawson. And then
without me.
And then Amy.
Obviously.
Because Amy needs to be in charge. She knows that her goose could be cooked here and she wants to control her own fate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
those teams though, like if this wasn't, I was just gonna say, like all this talk about like physical challenges and like, thank God the teams were randomly drawn. Thank God for the silver team, which also kind of like if you're making the team colors gold and silver, don't you feel some type of way if you get made silver? Like it's literally like the medal for second place, like in the Olympics or most like medal games. Anyway, but these teams were so uneven. If this were like any other type of challenge that had some sort of physicality, like all this talk about like, oh, these big buff guys, like, and then you've got Dawson, Rob, and Nick all on the same, and then like I feel like Stephanie is like pretty physical too, and then you have like all of like the smaller women and Aaron on the other side. Like just seeing these 2 divisions, like we're lucky that this wasn't some sort of like I don't know what type of thing it could be. They were just driving boats and like, so thank God it was not anything that were being physical would matter because bad draw.
It was an interesting challenge that you had to go take the motorboat out, come back with 2 suitcases each, briefcases unmarked, and then the first person to get back. Chappell, I just thought that the motorboat part of it was weird.
I don't know. I love a good motorboat. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know if we needed it.
No, always. A motorboat's always necessary.
It is a requirement.
Give me a reason.
I mean, to be fair, Joe said the banker feels like you haven't spent enough time out on the peaceful waters, and so he didn't want them to swim out to get these briefcases that they've got cool little boats. Like, let's use the boats.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we did get a question on Twitter from George CTV, and it said, I don't know if you've addressed this, but I keep hearing that the banker recognizes those taking risks. Is this going to come to play at some point? And I started to wonder that too, because the banker's like, I haven't seen you in the water. This will show me if you're able to bluff. This will, like the banker's always telling us what he wants. But is there any benefit to giving the banker what he wants? I just haven't figured out that part of the game yet.
Yeah. No, we said that the banker likes it when you neg him also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but which one is
Yeah.
it? Is it
Yeah.
I
give
think he has
them
like
what
a
they want or
humiliation
no?
kink.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so you know who was
He's
not
Big Brother. He's
Yeah.
always watching.
He's always watching. You know who was not lucky about this draw? Kim Matina, because she
Yeah.
ended up like this is the worst particular challenge to get this draw. Because if it was a physical challenge, Kim might just sail through with immunity this time. She's aligned. She's on the same team with Rob and all the big guys and Stephanie. And it's like, I think she's got it. Like I saw the team and I was like, I think we get another week of Kim. But when it turns out that this challenge is ride the motorboat out there, bring back the briefcases that you cannot choose, and then one person gets to be the bluffer and the other person gets to be the guesser, it really took a lot of that that team aspect away because a lot of it is random. So much of this game is luck. It is incredible how much of this game is actually luck.
But I kind of thought it was going to be luck, but then there was a lot of skill that ended up being involved in this game. I thought this game was like incredibly fascinating down to the final round.
I thought it was going to be a runaway. Like I think we all did, after those first 3 rounds, watching how this played out. And I was like, oh my God, we're watching a master class. Like we're watching Rob like explain, everything he's learned from his psychology degree from Boston University and all of his years of poker, all of the things he's picked up from all of these years of playing Survivor, even he studies people. We were getting,
Jenny, you know what? I after I was watching this, I'm like, I don't feel as bad about losing Survivor today.
It's like
in the first place.
You lost to this man here who's like, she looked at the briefcase twice, so I could tell she liked that. I was like, how does that little glance at the briefcase? Yeah, Rob, you didn't stand a chance. You were a wee lad.
It wasn't
your fault.
Yeah.
Like, the things that he was picking up, I was like, oh, okay. This was fascinating. Like, I really there was a point where I was like, we are just watching this guy from the sidelines while other people are being the guessers wipe the damn floor with this other team. And it was really fascinating to watch. I really thought that it was going to be a blowout. Like the edit completely got me.
Yeah.
And perhaps, a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
There was a weakness here.
Well, forget celebrity home renovation. Like he's like the mentalist. Give him his own show.
Oh, I don't like that.
You don't like the mentalist? You don't like Boston Rob and Psych?
I am very anti like magician.
This is not a magician.
But it's a magician adjacent. You know what I mean? It's like anyone that's like into that sort of thing is also like into magic, and not Magic the Gathering. Don't worry, Aaron, you're safe.
Wow.
You're a little too observant. You might be a witch. And I think that's what Jenny's getting at here.
Here's the thing. I am like, there are very few things that I'm closed-minded about. I've just I've had some personal experiences. I've talked about this on podcasts before. I'm very anti-magic and more so magicians. I just don't trust people that are into magic.
To be clear, no one said anything about magic, Jenny. It's just...
But it's adjacent. It's like Chris Angel type, you know what I mean? It's the same vibe.
Jenny, what happened? What happened?
What do you how much time do you got,
day? Yeah. Where's this coming from?
It started there.
Yeah. Never date a magician. That's the rule.
Here's the thing. It's like we've seen people on reality shows where it's like, oh, like don't trust was it Lauren Rimmer that said don't trust the gingers?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't trust the people. Yeah.
That's an even broader stroke. I'm telling you.
Don't trust the mentalists.
Trust magicians or adjacent arts.
Okay. Illusionists, right.
Illusionists.
Yeah. Their whole job is lying, basically. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. In like a sexy,
tricking you.
fun way.
Yes,
no,
yeah.
not for me.
Yes.
But the mentalist is the opposite. The mentalist is supposed to see through your lies. You know, they pick up on the things. They're not.
He's probably trying to see through my clothes too. I don't trust this man. No, no. Get out of here.
Well, here's the thing. This was a runaway, and that's why I said there's so much luck that goes into this show because Boston Rob has the skill to win this game. The problem is if the other team just starts pulling out, well, this case had $1 million in it. What are you gonna do? You know, I think they win 3 in a row, 4 maybe.
They win the first, so they win the first 3.
Rounds.
So Boston Rob, he calls it out with it's Dawson versus Jordan. He says I think he catches that Jordan looked back at the more expensive case. He picks that up. The second time it was Kim versus Miranda. Rob sees Miranda's tells Kim Matina to pick the right case. It's Amy versus Stephanie, and Amy again. Bad poker face that they get it right. Okay, so they got 3 in a row.
Play poker.
It's a runaway, and hey, don't play poker, Amy.
But look, it's 2.2 million versus 265K. They should not be able to complete. They should not be able to catch up at this point.
I thought it was a little fugazi that maybe did production all right, start putting the heavyweight
change the
cases
cases that are left.
They would see them changing the cases though, y'all. It's not like they can. All right,
what were the chances, Chappell, that the 2 highest cases happen to be in rounds 4 and round 5?
I mean, you could ask that same question when Rob gets to the banker because all the highest cases were his kids. So, you know, his whole family was like $1 million here, 800,000. So, I mean, it was just a bad luck because I'm telling you, there's no reason why you have a random draw of the cases and then you get 2 cases out of 5 and you win the game. Rob should have got something for being so good at the tells when in reality, you just had to have the right case. That's deal or no deal for you, though. You know, you can be very good at guessing, but it doesn't matter if you got the wrong case.
From a game mechanic, had the large cases came up in round 1 and round 2,
it would be a wash.
It would have been, they would have clinched by round 4 and round 5, and they'd be playing for money that wouldn't have put them over the top. So I wonder if from just the show perspective, they had to do it this way, where they didn't put the bigger cases out until later.
Or
could the contestants see what was going on at the where the cases were from where they were sitting?
Maybe not.
I think so, because when people go out into the boats, they're like, look at Rob and Aaron. They're talking. You know, they're out there to look at them. Look at them there. You can tell.
But that was before they
on the dock.
took off at the dock.
No, they talk both times. And both times, I think you see both the players saying it. They talk when they get to the cases as well. Because Rob's like, hey, you might want to throw this to me. And Aaron's like, oh, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, trying to say Melissa.
Sorry, the motor, it's so loud.
It's so loud. Yeah.
But
it's hard to rig
they probably have production out by the floating whatever platform to cameras to get the shot, because we had shots of them grabbing the cases and stuff. Or the other thing I was wondering, did they arrange the cases in a way where it's the first few people where they were placed on the platform or whatever, they're more likely gonna grab from this side and this side first, and in the middle as you get to less cases? I don't know.
All right. Well, let's just go through Nick and Alyssa real quick, because Alyssa does a good job against Nick. And Brooklyn Nick, he's here. He's taking on the city moniker. Jenny,
licking his lips.
Would the Brooklyn Nick charm have thrown you off?
I mean, probably.
Wow.
Oh, it's hard to say. He's not really my type, but also I think that it would probably
he did lip lick.
He was making the I think if anything, it would make me laugh, which might like throw me off, but not in like a like sexy way. You know what I mean? I'd be like, it would be so obvious to me that he was like trying to riz me that like I think I would maybe just, because I love a good joke. I love to laugh.
Well,
I love
Chappell,
a good, you know?
Alyssa had the antidote to Brooklyn Nick.
Yeah, she was like, I don't like you, no way.
Yeah.
That does nothing for me. Listen, Alyssa, the New York Knicks do nothing for me too. So I get it.
Oh.
You want to talk about a joke? It's right there.
Yeah,
So
they haven't closed in 25 years.
and now
go.
the people are really booing us. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. But listen, it was right there. Yeah, he tries to charm her. Everybody, it makes it look like everybody is like, oh, well, that's charming. Where's that side of Nick come from? He's like, yeah, I gotta work on her. And Alyssa's like, nah, let's play the game. So yeah, she shuts it down. His charms doesn't work. And Alyssa's strategy was, let's actually talk. Because everybody else's strategy to that point was, we're not going to say anything. If we don't say anything, we can't bluff them. Rob, this happened in another show we watched. I don't think you got to the episode, though. We talked about Surviving Paradise on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was basically a challenge where it was like, try to guess and see if you want what's in the box that I have, and it was a big deal in that show. But I like that these games are starting to pick up different things, because these are not type of games that we would see in the past. Like we watched a lot of reality TV between the three of us, and I don't think I've seen a game like this except for maybe in Surviving Paradise. So I liked it.
Jenny, Alyssa also said that she was good at this game because she's good at hiding her emotions because she's worked at a theme park.
So I think that she was a Disney princess character at one of these. So I think she's very used to acting essentially. And also I feel like that's a very specific kind of acting job where you're faces on all the whole time. You're happy, you're joyful, you're hiding how uncomfortable and how hot you are. You are trying to be fun and magical and happy for the children and the guests around you. So I think that that's actually a very specific skill set, more so than just how it sounds on paper.
How she got the princess card.
Yeah. And also, so she did a good job here, and I loved how this was edited, because we got the Nick talking through how he puts on the charm, and he's like, yeah, I give them a little bit of that Boston Nick, and I lick those lips and make them glisten, and the ladies love it. And she's like, yeah, that's not gonna work on me because I'm gay. And everyone's like, oh, and then you get the shot Nick where he was like, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Sometimes they be gay. Sometimes they be gay.
And it was just, I really, really loved how this whole segment was edited. It was very fun. Got character moments from both of them. We got an explanation. Again, content for why Alyssa is so dangerous in this game.
She's pretty good. Yeah.
Her team was terrible. If it weren't for her, obviously, and we'll get to it with Aaron, that clinches it. But I don't think that there mathematically was a way for them to come back if it weren't for what Alyssa did first. So we do need to give Alyssa her props here.
She literally picked the $1.5 million case. Because of that brings the competition to 2.5 mil versus 1.75. And so they're not. That's what I'm saying. If it wasn't for these huge amounts at the end, if it was just best 3 out of 5, Rob's team wins, it's game over. But I think because it's deal or no deal, it has to be there has to be a certain amount of luck, because I think deal or no deal is one of the few games where there's so much luck involved. You have to reason when it comes to taking the deal, but you can't choose which case based off of anything, right? It could be your birthday, your mom's birthday, whatever, and you could still have a bad draw. This is just one of those times where it just didn't work out for them.
Okay. Let's talk about, then we get this climactic showdown. You couldn't have scripted it better, where it's here comes Rob and here comes Aaron. And this is all right, the biggest mismatch of the century. Okay.
Yeah.
So Rob starts off and starts going to Aaron and says, hey, throw it to me. Then I'll be safe. And Aaron's like, I don't know. I don't think so. No can do.
Let's
Now-
just play this out. You know, that's a constant phrase we've heard.
Let's just play the cards how they're dealt.
Yeah, we've heard that phrase on so many different shows, right? Big Brother, Survivor, The Child. Whenever somebody's in like an endurance thing, you're like, "Hey, throw it to me," and somebody is like stalling you out. No, let's just let the best man win. How about let's just see what happens? You know, we don't have to do that. Why don't we see what's going on here? Like that is a key giveaway that this person is not about to do what you want them to do. If Rob was able to pull this off, this would have been a different podcast. We'd have came here. Like, you think that last time was like his best challenge moment? If he pulls this off, we're just coming here, our knees would be sore, you know, because we were like, Rob, oh my God, how was he doing it?
He can't keep getting away with this.
He can't keep getting away with it. Like, you know, like, but so I'm happy that, you know, I'm happy that we didn't have to do that because we needed something to humble us. Yeah.
And now my question here is, Aaron mentions that it's, you know, he loves Boston Rob and he does want to protect him, but it's more important to him that he keeps him and Alyssa safe. If Alyssa was on Rob's team, is this a totally different conversation?
Yes.
Right? Does Aaron lay his life on the line in a situation where Rob
because
and
Rob
Alyssa
would not let Dawson put Aaron into the banker's temple.
See, I disagree. I'm giving Aaron more credit. I think that Aaron was primarily looking out for himself. I think he's like, listen, if I give this to Rob, yes, sure, Rob can protect Aaron. But if Rob can protect Aaron, why can't Rob protect Aaron and Alyssa? He doesn't trust Rob. I think he's looking at Rob like, yeah, maybe there's a world where you would target Alyssa or at least let her get targeted. And then it's just me and you. I think that's why he's like, I can't throw it because I need to make sure that I'm safe. But I also need to make sure that, you know, Alyssa can be safe. Like, I'm saving me first and foremost. I think that losing Alyssa and losing Rob are both equally bad for Aaron. So I think for him, he's just trying to make sure that he gets to be the one to call the shots here.
But he's not really calling the shot because that Amy's going to call the shot.
And that's the
thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, because I was just gonna say, like, so and Aaron even says this, is like, the thing is that like Rob isn't the one who makes the decision, it's Dawson. And like, I don't feel necessarily safe. So it's like, it becomes this conversation of, can Rob control Dawson better than you know, Aaron and Alyssa control Amy? Like,
right. Yeah. And Rob cannot control Dawson. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And we know Rob can control Nick, and maybe that his move is like, hey, Nick,
and Nick's
I need you to give you
more.
Yeah, you know how that thing didn't work on Alyssa. You got a new mission.
Yeah.
Dawson.
Yeah. And Dawson's like, but I'm gay. And they're like, yeah, exactly.
We know.
You know,
he's like, and this time the fact that you're gay works to my advantage.
Right. Yeah. Look, I think that if this is a war where you're coming after Boston Rob and Boston Rob is immune, if you are coming after Boston Rob, the natural trajectory is for you to come after one of his army. Aaron is the next choice. I think that it would be foolish for him to put himself in that position. We saw Claudia go out like that. We saw Jamil go like that. Aaron is the next person in line for that army. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be trying to get immune here, even if it is about Alyssa. If Alyssa's on the other team, no one's going after Alyssa to weaken Boston Rob. Everybody knows if you want to take Boston Rob out, you got to get out his number one ally, and that's Aaron.
See, okay. I think that people are discounting Aaron enough that they wouldn't, at this stage of the game, go at Aaron. He's played against the banker already and has won. And we see a lot of people at the end of this episode saying, like, I trust Aaron, like, Aaron's great. We see people, you know, making strange game moves to try to, like, get in good with Aaron. Obviously, in this scenario, Nick, if Rob's team wins, Nick isn't available to be, to play against the banker. But I truly think that the perception of the next, like, one of Rob's cronies is probably Nick. And that I actually think that people would go after Alyssa as one of Rob's people before Aaron. That's kind of what I think, because I think that people are really discounting Aaron's strength, because they're weighing this
Maybe
like
not after
physical
this.
thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not after seeing what he manages to pull off here. That's a very good point. But I just think that it's not quite, people are not going to view Aaron the same way that they viewed Jamil, Claudia, and like how they probably look at Nick as well.
Yeah. Look at the options on the board. You're right. Alyssa is there. Aaron's there. But who's coming after Jordan? Nobody. You know what I'm
Who?
saying? Like, so exactly. So it's kind of like when you see
Claudia
who's
Jordan?
left, no one's coming. Like Rob's team might go after Amy, but that's it. You know, like nobody else is standing out as an obvious target for that squad except for Aaron and Alyssa. And if Aaron is going to leave that up to a coin toss that Dawson gets to make the decision, I just think that's unwise. You know, he cannot count on that. And then at that point, he still has to beat the banker. You know, so it's too much. I'm definitely taking immunity there every time, and I think Aaron would too.
Okay, so let's talk about the showdown between Rob and Aaron. Rob, when Aaron is like, let's talk later. That Rob's like, all right, let me run to the thing. He gets there. He says, all right, I'll let him bluff. I'm going to read him like a book. And Rob does so. He's like, okay, I see his eyes. He's acting like he doesn't like it. Then he's touching his face and he's acting like, well, he really likes this one. It's obvious that the first one was the big money case. But then I don't know, did Aaron do something or did Rob just get into his own head?
I think Rob got into his head and realized because he was using the same, like we saw him and how he was reading all of these other people, and we know that Rob knows that Aaron is smart. We saw the confessional last week where they called themselves the Boston Brains. And Rob said, in fact, I think we are the only two people in the game with brains. Like he, you know, as much as I do think that he doesn't sense how dangerous he could be to him in the game, I do think that Rob sees Aaron as a smart person and understands his you know, capabilities. And I think that he's like, I can't use the same logic that I just used for, you know, Miranda and Amy and, you know, Jordan, and apply that to Aaron, because he's maybe thinking differently, or he knows how I'm looking at these things, so he's trying to throw me off. And I think that he just kind of overthought it, got in his head a little bit, questioned his first instinct. And Joe said it is like the banker was looking for listening to your gut, using your intuition. The whole point of the episode was about using your intuition. And his intuition right off the bat was like the tell that he saw was like he looks at the first case and acts like he doesn't like it. That's a tell that it's the better case. And he went against it. And then they have like the little interaction where he's like, "Did you just pull the reverse on me?" And I think it's just like he's too far gone at that point.
Well, the reverse.
Yeah,
I tried to count them.
I think he just choked. I think he choked. I think that, you know, it happens. I think you cannot always be clutch all the time. And I think that in that moment,
sure.
Yeah. And I think Aaron did a good job of throwing them off. I think taking off his glasses is a masterstroke, because not because of like the reflection thing, but when I take off my glasses, I cannot see. And so you're gonna get the same reaction out of me every time. It's this. And so when he looks at it, he's like, wait. And so Rob's like, wait, was that the tail? I don't know. And then he looks at the other one, he's like, but he's like, wait, is that the tail? Is that the tail? I think that it really threw him off. I think this is good on Aaron, because I think people expect him to fold in that moment, right? And for Rob to be like, this kid has nothing on me. I'm a professional poker player. I played Survivor all these times. I win these. This is what I do. So Aaron stepped up and he made a good moment. So, you know, I was happy
for Aaron.
For Aaron, yeah.
And we've also seen Aaron divulge too much in other situations. So like we've seen him like, you know, not have a poker face and just kind of like tell people too much. So this really seemed like, oh my God, what a layup. Like we're getting Rob against Aaron. So it was kind of a beautiful
He's not
ending.
Banu.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So now Rob is like, okay, what do we do? What do I do now? And there's really like two different ways to do that. Could I try to do whatever I can to not go into the banker's temple, or do I want to be in that spot? And Jenny, this goes back to our claim to fame coverage
Yep.
that, we, and I think that the players like got there eventually. You're better off being in the guess off than potentially getting guessed. And so Rob correctly identifies, look, I'd rather take fate into my own hands rather than pray to the Deal or No Deal gods that somebody loses and goes home.
Especially because, and we hear this from Rob, that he's going to play with the odds every time. And when you are Rob, with his reputation, with his position in this game, the relationships he has, the people, the allies he's already lost, the numbers on the table, he knows that statistically, another person playing Deal or No Deal is actually worse odds for him going home than him playing himself, because there were numerous people that could play instead of him, and he was the chalk pick for a lot of those people if they win to go home. So why not simplify the odds a little bit and just leave it down to and also, like, if he wins, not only is he still in the game, he gets to have his say on who he takes off of the board.
Right.
Whereas, like, if it's Dawson, let's say, that plays Deal or No Deal, and maybe Dawson doesn't want to take a big swing and doesn't go after Rob, wins Deal or No Deal and takes somebody else out. Maybe
who's working with Rob.
Maybe takes out Nick.
Ally.
He's like, I don't know. I don't know that that's the situation that would have happened.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, not only, you're rolling the dice that he might take you out, and if he doesn't take you out, he could take out someone that's helpful to you. So, like, why not just simplify it? And best case scenario, you win, you're still in the game, and also you get rid of a person that could take you out in a later round. So I just think it was the simplest way to handle it.
But I think it also speaks to the way that Rob is approaching this game. Like, I don't know what the prize is for second place on this. For Rob, it's like, I'm either going to win the jackpot or I'm going home. It doesn't matter if I come in second or come in 10th. So what's the biggest upside move that I could make? It's that I get to stay and I get to pick the person who's going to go home, rather than some like middle case scenario where, okay, I survive and maybe this other person that I don't care about goes home, or maybe one of my allies goes home, but I get to stay. So Chappell, he's swinging for the fences here.
He is, but like Jenny said, I think it's kind of the obvious move if you're in this position, because we know he has a target. If you don't have a target on your back, fine. Who gives a damn what Miranda's going to do? She's like chilling, whatever. But if you come in like Rob, then you have to be on the offensive, because that's going to be the only thing that keeps you safe every week. And Kim Martina even sees it. And this is like the first time we really hear from her in the episode where she's saying, oh, Rob's definitely going to try to get in the guest. He's going to try to sweet talk himself into the guest role. And he's going to come for me because I made the block hop for him. And she's not wrong. He should definitely be doing this. There, there's some intrigue to whether or not, is it going to be Amy? Stephanie feels like it might be her. But everybody knows that he's identified the person. His biggest op in the game is Kim Martina. And this happening it's catastrophic for her game, but it is absolutely the necessary choice for Rob. He should not be allowing anybody to guess. Anybody else should be leaving this game. It has to be Kim Martina right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also think that, like, if you're Rob and you're coming into this game with the target, and like Rob, you just said, what's the value in getting second place, or just like, getting far and coming home with the same amount of money, that I think if you're going to leave the game, you want to leave because you made a bad deal with the banker, not because you were sitting on the sidelines and a single person just says, bye, you have to go. Like, that's the shittiest way to leave this game. And I really feel for Kim in this, scenario, especially because I felt like we really didn't get a lot of anything from her, to the point where I was like, there's no way she's going home tonight. We've hardly gotten anything from her. So I just think that that's the other thing is Rob's thinking is like, I'd rather go out if I lose and say, like, I made a bad deal. That's it. Not this person, give the power to somebody else to end his game. Let the banker end his game. That's probably the only person he feels good about ending his game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Rob playing a Deal or No Deal, because there was some interesting stuff here for sure. First off, Rob says, if he wins the money, Starbucks and Lululemon is going to get most of it from his wife
4 daughters.
and 4 daughters. What number will Rob pick? We talked about this last week. What number? We actually said that we think probably 4, right? But our reasoning was 4 kids.
Or the Marquesa.
Played on Survivor 4.
Say.
Yeah, but no, his oldest daughter born on the 4th of July. And so last week on the show, I was talking about a scenario where everybody's like, hey, I got to get the tiny, I'm looking for 1 penny, 5 cents, $75. I want the low numbers. I had said, I think maybe you might want to knock out all of the big numbers, because you're going to get an offer from the banker that's going to be like $30,000. And if you knock out a lot of the high numbers and there's a bunch of the low numbers left, you're kind of in a good spot. Yeah. And that's what happened with Rob here, where he ends up opening up a bunch of the big numbers and then gets like a low ball offer from the banker that, like, if this was the real Deal or No Deal, you would never take that. But if you're just trying to beat the number that's in your suitcase, Rob ends up with a 75% chance that he's going to have a crappy case. And he's right.
It was perfect because, again, and this is, I think, speaks to why, he's not looking at Alyssa right now, and why ultimately the person that he's going to take out is Kim, is he's trying to get himself to the next step and get the amount that he puts into the final case means jack to him right now, because he needs to just make sure that he has a chance to even get there. And for him, he has to take the best chances of staying in the game. And given the amounts in the cases that he opens, and damn, he was banging out big numbers. Like Ben's like,
yeah,
all the money, like, here
$1 billion,
you go, Ben.
$2 billion,
yeah,
$3 billion.
Yeah, like so much money out in those first 8 cases that, like, and we see the offer that gets made by the banker, and we see Stephanie lean to Kim, I think, and say that's a good offer. Like,
Kim said,
if your objective is stay in the game, that was a no-brainer, because you weren't going to get better odds than that, right? Like, there was just no way that if he kept opening cases, he was going to get to a situation where the odds would be more in his favor.
Yeah, and that's the other part about going into playing the Deal or No Deal game. I mean, you get to a situation where, okay, Rob has a 75% chance to stay. I mean, you got to take that. And even Claudia, it didn't work out for her, but she gets to a point where she has a 66% chance to stay. So at some point, you're going to, like, open up cases. And even if the money isn't a lot, like, you'll probably end up in a scenario where you have a better than 50% chance to stay.
Yeah, and I think that in Rob's case too, is like he was in way more of like a swing for the fences situation anyway. So it's like that, it's way better to be riskier than try to knock more things off in that situation, and just say like the cases he had left weren't even that good, like they were like a little bit higher than his offer. It was like, fine.
Right. Okay. Chappell, did you know about the 1 outer?
No, I don't play poker.
Well, there was a one-timer. Is that what it was called?
I thought it was a one. I thought it was a one timer, right?
Yeah, the one, you have that one outer that you get to use one time.
But he said there's this poker expression called one time.
Yeah,
and he said you got to use
it one time.
Yeah, you got. But then he says you pray to the poker gods to let you hit that one outer. But the thing is called the one time. And
because
says
you only get
one time.
You only get it one time. So does this mean that's it? His luck, like, he hit the one time. He can't cash this in again.
Yeah, was this
like, what does that mean for the rest of the game?
Deal or No Deal, Edgic, Chappell?
Yeah.
Is this Rob saying that, like, it worked this time, but the next time I'm in the Deal or No Deal showdown, it's not going to work?
I guess. I mean, like you said, you're playing the odds anyway. I mean, anybody could say that, like, oh yeah, like I got lucky this time, but maybe next time it won't work out. That's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I just think that like people have been calling this whole like briefcase situation to stay in the game as like a game flaw, and I don't really think it is. I just think it goes against the spirit of deal or no deal, right?
But what's
I think
the flaw? What are people saying?
People exactly what you're saying, which is it doesn't really matter what cases you pull at all, because as long as you play the odds and you get a decent deal, you just go with, okay, is it 66% or 30? You go with the higher, what
what
the
do
odds
I care
are
about the group?
Right, exactly. But I think the spirit
It's
of the
not your money,
game is you're supposed to be gambling, because that's what deal or no deal is. You're playing the odds to get the highest bid you can get. Whereas here, it's like, I don't really care what the number is at the end. I just need to survive the round. And so I wonder if that's actually going to come into play, because they talk about the banker wanting to have big risks and stuff like that. If you're taking measly little, oh yeah, you got to play the banker, you put 40,000 and there was 100,000 up there. Yeah, maybe the banker doesn't respect you or something. You got to give these people a reason to gamble.
Chappell, the flaw in the game is that they did not update the briefcase amounts for what it should be. That the briefcase amounts should be like, okay, $1, like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. So then, all right, so now the banker gives you an offer, and the offer is like 52,000. It's like, now I got to think about that. Whereas if it's like 1 penny, $1, $5, it's like, okay, well, like half the board is going to be below that. So I got to take that. So I think that if they take a look at this again, and again, maybe they want it to be like a little bit more in the favor of the player, that they would rather see people make good deals. But it's, I think that's where the flaw is. There's too many low dollar values.
Yeah, because even if Rob had kept playing, if he had guessed, like let's the banker said, take 4 more guesses. There's like 10 low dollar values left, and then there's like 3. So his odds are he's going to knock some of those off anyway. The number is only going to go up. It's just going to keep him playing the game. It's not going to change. Like it'll change his odds of having, I guess, the better deal. But at the same time, it does incentivize you to like, well, you could take off a couple more. You could run it up. So I think I do want the people to play deal or no deal. It would be so boring if every time people just like, all right, I picked off 8. I got like a 70% chance. Let's go for it.
It seemed like Rob was doing bad at the game. It actually worked out well for him, but by knocking out numbers on the right side of the board, because it made it an easier decision. Like if he was picking more low numbers, it would have made his decision ironically harder.
If you had hit 4 on each side, and like that's a really tough situation. Like it, you want to be focusing on one side of the board either way, so that you can kind of get a sense of like what's left.
Okay. I feel like you should be incentivizing the people to gamble. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's what they're missing is why should I keep going? What do you mean? Like I bring more money into the pot? I don't care. I'm not splitting the money with these people.
I was going to say, is there some sort of game mechanic where, there's like a personal like percentage or some sort of like incentive, like personal incentive to keep going? Because if you're in a situation where you've been placed in the position to play against the banker, that says to me in most cases, you're maybe in a not great situation game wise. Maybe not, could just be how challenges went. But I think that, especially as the game goes on and people realize like, I've got to take care of me. Who cares about putting money in this final briefcase I might never see? There needs to be some sort of like built-in personal incentive beyond staying in the game for people.
Okay, let me throw this out there. Okay, you get 10% of what you put into the bank.
Yeah, like for that round, if regardless of like what happened, he won that round. Is like, and because of that, Rob, you bring home $4,000. Yeah, like you just get that to the side, no matter what, because
they can't give away so much money. But even if you put $1 million in the case, okay, you won $100,000, and that would be like a huge win in that round. Where because $1 million is still there, so it's kind of like, okay, if I can get that 100K, then I'll play again. I'll play a little bit more. I'll roll the dice a little bit more. Yeah. But if it's literally just survive the round, then the numbers could all be the same. I'm just going to look at, okay, what's the odds that I go home? That's all I care about. It's not about how much money I'm making. I just want to make sure I survive to vote somebody else out. Okay, let's talk about then. Rob has to make a decision, and ultimately he goes with Kim. Who's mad?
This is not a decision.
Yeah.
This is not a decision. Yeah. What do
he
do?
says He explains it well, though. Like, I think that at this point in the game, he sees, based on his confessional and his explanation on why he chooses Kim, Rob knows that his issues in the game go far beyond Kim, but that is the headline. That is the story. That is
The public, the
that's
public
the narrative.
enemy.
Exactly.
He'll be
That's the
two-faced
narrative.
if he doesn't take Kim out.
And also, there are enough other people that have taken issue with Kim because of this whole thing. I don't know how many people were truly in on the plan last week to try to get Kim in the bottom, but apparently everyone was in on it. So I think for him, it's like he says, if I take out someone other than Kim, people are going to know I'm like playing, more steps ahead, and he needs to do something to kind of reduce his target in that aspect. And to be fair, Kim going is still not bad for him. I think it's just he recognizes that he's got other problems, and he's like, as much as I would love to get rid of like this person, or this person now, I got to do the first one on the list. Otherwise, I'm going to potentially make more problems for myself.
Yeah.
So I think he explained it well.
Okay. Kim has nothing to say to Boston Rob. We'll see about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have a feeling she's going to have a lot to say to Boston Rob, Chappell.
Well, she gonna have a lot to say to me, but I think in that moment she was just like, she felt like Boston Rob should not have been as threatened by her as he was. Boston Rob since episode 1 has been targeting Kim Mattina as she has been targeting him.
But
so,
you know what? I have to say, and Kim Mattina says, like, she said the whole season, like, I know Rob, I know how, but if you knew him, like, and
that's a compliment.
I look, you could say that. Well, Rob, didn't you know him? But you know what? I saw one version of Rob, and I misjudged. I misjudged because Rob evolved from who he was on Survivor Marquesas. But anybody that came into this show that knows him has seen him play 5 seasons of Survivor and The Amazing Race, and you have to know the worst idea to go, if Rob is your ops, the worst idea was to confront him head on. The best idea would have been to win him over, not cause a fuss, not become, some kind of like a public enemy pariah, and work from the inside out of like poisoning the well against him. That would have been the optimal way to play this. And maybe that's what Aaron does.
Well, maybe then we haven't seen him necessarily say that that's what he's doing. But I completely agree with you, Rob, because that he's going to have this cult leader type impact on some people in the game, where he's going to gather the troops. He's going to have people drinking his Kool-Aid. The best thing you can do is play along with it and know what's going on and strike at the right time. Like to give the impression that you are one of those people, and to take the shot when you have the ability to, and when you have people behind you. I totally understand Kim's perspective in being like, I'm not going to be one of these brain dead people that follow him. Like, this is a big threat. But she came out too hard too early, and she became she made herself essentially the leader of the opposition. And that's just a really, really dangerous place to be, especially very early in the game. So, but I do hope that Kim at least takes this and is to be the person that Rob wants out is kind of a compliment, because if you were a brain dead dummy, follower type person that is easily manipulatable and doesn't think that they can think for themselves, or not self-motivated, those are the people that he's probably going to be trying to work with, whether it's true or not. So for him to see Kim as someone that is a threat to his game, if anything, it's kind of just a compliment, right?
Yeah, this is a dope compliment, because we've seen what Rob does with people who he's not threatened by. He takes them all the way to the end and he beats them. So it's kind of like, yeah, she messed up by revealing her teeth very early, and showing off that, okay, she got some fangs on her. And she's like, okay, I should be worried. I should be concerned about her. But at the same
Mom,
time,
she said she's a cat.
yeah, kitty
Yeah.
purr is what she
Kitty.
said, boots down. And so
She did say, "Here, kitty."
yeah, but like I said, it's something to be said about saying, all right, I'm not going to be a part of that, because Rob cannot go to the end with everybody. So yeah, we're all trying to nice up and be next to Boston Rob, but eventually your time is going to come too, unless you get lucky, maybe not. So I think that, she probably talked herself into a bad spot by revealing too much about Boston Rob. And then at that point, the group starts to divide: the people who don't want to work with someone like Boston Rob, and then people who do, or people who are okay with it. In my extra interview with Claudia, she definitely mentioned, like, Claudia was good on being like, I don't know Boston Rob, but I don't think he doesn't deserve to be here or deserve the money because he's got money or that he's won challenges and stuff like that. So she was fine working with him. But there are people like Kim, Dawson, we've seen as well, that say, no, we need to be getting out Boston Rob. And so I definitely think this is a compliment. You come in and you give Boston Rob a run for his money. He's pulling out all the stops to get rid of Kim Bettina. He is tired. I'm sure after these, like, he can breathe well. Like when Thanos goes and sits down and looks at his garden, he's like, whew, all right, I did it, so I think there's something to take from that for sure.
Okay.
I think he's gonna turn and see what's next. He's got Amy lining up. Stephanie's still a problem.
Thor comes in with the axe, it's aim for the head,
we said last week, we feel like that, that it was, there have been victories along the way for Rob, but like overall, the tide is like maybe not looking so good as far as the battlefield goes. Like, he has a real uphill fight for the rest of this thing. Like, he's in it, but like there are more of them than there are of him.
If this was the stock watch,
if this is the stock watch, 10 first week, 10 the second week. Look, it's 10s until this week, and then I'm looking at like 8.5, because I'm like, it was decent for Rob, but at the same time, it's definitely not the runaway that we thought it was at first.
Yeah, well, I'd say lower than an 8.5, because I feel like that, I don't think he has Aaron, and I've said this all season, I don't think he has Aaron the way that he needs Aaron. It looks like he has Nick, and maybe Nick is like the... Yeah.
Well, I was just saying, losing Claudia, like, even though like last week was still a good episode for him, in terms of the fact that he was safe and all of this, like, losing Claudia, I think was like a really big hit for him.
Like, how many like real ride or dies does he have? He has seemingly Nick and maybe Aaron, but like when push came to shove in this episode, Aaron left him unread and didn't do what he wanted, and so
motor's too loud.
And then on the other side of things, you have Miranda, who's like, what, we don't know, but you have Amy, who's out to get Rob. You have Stephanie, who's out to get Rob. You have Alyssa, who her motives are unclear, but I think she's a very self-interested player. Dawson also was saying like, hey, I don't trust Rob. Put me into the banker's temple. So
I will say, though,
half the cast wants to get rid of Rob.
Oh yeah, like like he has way more enemies than he does friends at this point. But also, we've seen him do wild things in all of these excursions, and if he can just keep hitting targets, there are a lot of situations where they run the table in this challenge tonight. A couple things went wrong. Maybe he learns from it, but. Here's the thing about Amy. Amy made if she was vulnerable tonight, because like she should not have been okay. Obviously, if you're making the decision to put someone to play against the banker, you're in the power position, you're safe. You can't be the person that gets gets eliminated. But like, why did she choose him? Like, why did she choose him? Why wouldn't she, when you have someone that you feel better in, like Dawson or Kim, like, why are you not looking at Kim and being like, I'm not working super tight with Kim, so I think if she loses,
she got spooked. I think that it was like, she was like, oh, if I don't put him in, then did he play me and say he wanted to go in, and so that then he tricked me? Like, I think that he gets in these people's heads.
So it was like what Aaron did to him.
A little bit, I think.
Well, I think he got into Dawson's head because Dawson says, "No, Kim, no, Kim, do Kim or me." And I'm like, Dawson, no, not you. Like that, don't do you. You're dumb. Like, don't you'll go home. Like, don't do that's dumb. Don't do that. But I think that for Amy, she's thinking if I put Kim in and Kim loses to the banker, Kim goes home. And now I've pissed off Rob because I did not give Rob what he wanted. I gave Kim the opportunity to aim at him, and now she missed. And that essentially, I missed that shot at Rob, so she's like, and then he's here next week to now shoot at me. At least this time, I didn't make an enemy out of him. I've proven that I was willing to give him what he wants.
But she spent the whole episode being so obvious about like not being good with him. It's almost like she like had a moment of clarity. Like that's why I just feel like she had a day where she was just like unhinged, and then she like slept or something and was like, oh, I should really not be pushing myself to the front of like Rob's ops list, and I should maybe just step back. And this was like her backpedaling, because to be fair, like even though I think that on paper putting Kim in there being like best case scenario she wins, takes out Rob, and like that's great. Worst case scenario I lose Kim, and that's not the worst thing to happen to me. Putting Kim in signals to Rob that that's who she's going to take out if she wins. So it's like it's not about like putting Kim in a vulnerable position. It's more about like who's going to take out Rob.
Okay,
and
real
Kim's
quick.
won. Yeah.
If we had to have a draft of who's the winner of the show, is Rob is still the number one pick in the draft, correct?
Well, not after you just outlined why he shouldn't be, right? You just told us that basically odds are against him very much in every situation.
Does he still have the best odds? Like, does he still have the best odds? Who should be the number one pick then?
Probably Alyssa.
You think Alyssa? I would say
Alyssa's definitely up there.
I think I'd still have Rob number one, but I think Alyssa would be 2 and Aaron would be 3.
Oh no, I think I'm putting Rob probably at 3. Because there's so many people are incentivized to go after Rob. So many people are. I mean, the only person who's not is Aaron.
Yeah,
maybe Nick. Even Nick could go after Rob and just be like, I don't think I could beat you. I just don't think he's safe in any in any machination of this.
But if anybody can pivot and have a next move, that it is Rob. And so let's see what happens with Aaron in the Banker's Temple and the sleepover that's coming up and what they're going to do, because I would bet anything this ends up being a bad thing for Aaron.
Everyone trusts him. Yeah, it seemed ominous, right?
It seems ominous. Everybody trusts. I mean, Rob put him up there for that. So Rob was like, okay, he'll tell me what happened, and then if for whatever reason, Rob can turn people against Aaron if he needs to.
Can he? Like, can he? The person that everybody unanimously just said they trust the most. It's like Aaron. I think he's in such a good spot. I don't think anybody's coming for Aaron anytime soon. I know Rob's skill set is better than everybody else's from what we've seen, so it's hard to bet against him.
If anybody could turn people again, like, hey, did you see? Everybody trusts Aaron. Everybody loves the kid. He's got to be working with somebody.
He's not taking all of us to the end.
I mean, he has moves to make. The question is, can he do it? And and then on top of that, you still have to beat the banker. Even if it was just strategy based, social strategy, picking Rob every time. But the fact of the matter is you can get down there, say deal or no deal, and just lose right there, and then he's out, and there's nothing he could have done to change it. Or somebody else could end up in the banker's and just lose, and there's nothing he could. He could be in a situation where he's one of 4 people who are in a position to go home. And there's nothing he could have done to change that. So there's a lot of luck involved in this. I do think he has the best skill set, but I think the game is too hairy right now. It's too much clutter, too many random people walking around that we just met today for me to actually place a vote confidently.
Okay, Jenny, anything else?
No, I mean, I'm just, Joe said to Aaron that his fate in the game hangs in the balance.
Oh my God.
So that feels like pretty ominous. I'm interested to see, like, that's the thing is like, like many shows that we've covered, Rob, we don't know how we don't know how this game works, how it ends, what twists are coming through down the pipe. We didn't know that there was a situation where they just say, Aaron, you don't get to come home with us. You're staying on the stage.
Stay for detention. Stay after school.
So, you know, I won't count Rob out completely. I do, you know, I'm worried, but I still like let him cook.
Yep. Chappell, we didn't even talk about the bat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're still in the jungle, y'all. You know, a bat showed up.
We gotta remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta remember, it's still outside. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Claudia was not happy. She was like, "There's bugs. I don't like it. It's hot. I want to go home." You know, like there's still an aspect of this. Is like it's not surviving per se, but if you don't like animals, this probably ain't the game for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Jenny, what's next for you?
What is next for me? Just dondying the day away and seeing what happens next. And yeah, I'm having a great time. And that's it. Follow me at Jenny Autumn.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then Chappell, what are you cooking?
Recap, kickback, and Dondi. Those are the big two, but you can follow me on Twitter to keep up with all the rest of that stuff. Follow at Recap Kickback. You can check out our Black TV theme song bracket that Mari and I did with our guest Tyrone. It's on YouTube. It was a great time. The audio version has the audio as well. Me and YouTube had a copyright fight and they won, but I got around it. Damn it. So check that out as well. And then, I'll be doing, I've done some Australian Survivor coverage with Shannon and a panel of the drafters. So that was fun. I'm everywhere these days. Follow me on Twitter at Recap Kickback to keep up with all of that and more.
Okay. And check out Chappell's interview with Kim coming up on Tuesday. And then also, Chappell and I just had another week of Club Condo in the books, talking about Survivor week after week. So check that out up on robhasawebsite.com and everything else that we're doing here on YouTube. We appreciate it when you like the video and, of course, when you subscribe to the channel. So we'll give you a second to do that if you haven't done it yet. And thank you for listening. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.